What you want to be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. My name is Bradley Ball, and it is so good to have you with us. Last week, wow, what a week. If you were living under a rock somewhere, you may have missed it, but at Microsoft Build, we announced Microsoft Fabric, and it took over the week. On Monday, we released a video. Use Azure Managed Identity to back up Azure SQL Managed Instance to blob storage, not SaaS tokens. Make sure you check that out. We had our community roundtable on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, we released an introduction to Microsoft Fabric featuring Neeraj Jhaveri and myself. We talked about how to enroll, how to opt in, how to build a data warehouse. Also, Wednesday and Thursday of last week, we had special live shows for the Microsoft Fabric digital event. We had on Adam Saxton, Bradley Schatt, Cal Yellow, all from the Microsoft Fabric Cat product group. So much to see, you don't want to miss a thing. Make sure and head over to our channels and check those videos out. And if this is the first time you're finding us, head over to our YouTube page, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you want to interact with the show, it is so easy. Just go to any one of our streams. We are streaming right now on Twitter under TailsTF The Field. Josh Ludeman, Neeraj Jhaveri, SQL Balls. We are on LinkedIn over at SQL Balls. And of course, we are streaming out of our hub, the Tales from the Field hub on YouTube itself. If you go and comment on any one of those streams, one of my amazing co-hosts will find that comment and they will add it and you will be a part of the show. Speaking of those amazing co-hosts, let me introduce them. I am joined by Andreas Padilla, Josh Ludeman, and his work in the field of analytics is unparalleled. Plus, I love the way he loses control of his temper and turns into a giant green rage monster. It's your friend and mine, Neeraj Jhaveri. Oh, so first off, a quick programming note. We want to make sure that we note that it was Memorial Day this past Monday in the United States, where we remember our troops and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. If you are in the audience and have served our country, or if you are a family member of a troops, we want to tell you that we love you. We love all you do to support your loved ones. We want to thank you for your service. And from the bottom of our hearts, just a big thank you from us. Andreas, wow, what a week last week. We had the Microsoft Fabric launch and then a 3-day weekend for Memorial Day. How are you doing, my friend?
I feel like, have you guys ever been to a 4-day, 5-day concert, festival, Coachella, anything like that? It's just act after act after act of great acts the whole week. Then we throw in Memorial Day weekend. We have barbecues, we have beach. I think I'm ready for some downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. After last week's announcements and then, a bunch of stuff this weekend, I was looking forward to a long weekend. But then, stuff just happened because there was so much free time. And now I'm like, all right, is it Friday yet? Again? That again.
How about you, Neeraj? What did you get into this weekend?
So my wife was traveling. They had girls trip. So I was with the kids. So took them out to New York City. Took them out to movies, took them out doing a beach day, like a air show. So all sorts of things with the girls. So that was fun.
What'd you see at the movies?
The girls saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw Fast X. And the girls still wanted to see Spider-Man, all of them. So probably this is going on.
I got to tell you. Yeah, I've been so busy moving. I almost forgot that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was coming out, and that's this weekend. And so I'm going to end up having to buy tickets for the family on Sunday because we're moving on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, Josh, how about you?
Me, it's so you moved. We're gonna be moving here in the next month and a half. So a lot of it for me was moving boxes, selling different pieces of furniture that we no longer need on Facebook, packing boxes, moving box. Yeah.
You also moving?
Yeah.
Oh wow, what's up with Florida? Everybody's
I,
moving.
Just shifting around a little bit. That's all.
Let's see. Yeah, and our good buddy Dan Taylor. Hey Dan, how you doing out there? Spider-Man this week on Thursday. Yeah, I think it's just because of the move. Like literally when we wrapped up everything for work on Friday, I immediately started boxing stuff up. I moved my entire closet. I moved the guest, like it was the guest bedroom, my office. As you can see, I moved the entire office, set it up. Internet was installed on Friday, so it was go time for me to be able to get this office up and running. So I'm officially working out of the new house. This weekend we move all the big stuff, and we are 100% here, which I'm super excited about. But because of that, normally I'm on top of the movie stuff, and I just bought tickets for the Flash last night, and I've got to figure out if my family
Oh
wants
yeah.
to go or if I've got tickets for friends, because everybody is looking at this movie. It's a highly anticipated movie. I can't wait to go see that one. But I love the first Spider-Verse. I mean, there's a lot of great songs from that soundtrack that are still on my workout playlist. Into the Spider-Verse was amazing, and I can't wait to. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse was amazing, and Across the Spider-Verse, I've got high expectations. It was one of my favorite movies ever.
So I have to say it and give them kudos here while we're talking about it. If you've seen the trailer for the Across the Spider-Verse movie, they redo the meme that we overuse in technology about
Hmm.
pointing at each other and giving each other blame. They literally put it into the movie in the trailer where they say, announce like get Spider-Man, and they all stop in this like hall of Spider-Men and kind of point at each other like that. I love that. Sorry.
Yep.
As a technology person who uses that meme a lot, loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of those meetings.
Yeah.
It's an issue with the data, right? No, it's an issue with the networking. No, it's not an issue with the networking. It's an issue with the storage. Well, because it's an issue with the data, right? No, where's the app guy? We need more fingers.
Right. Or more Spider-Man.
Andreas, so how about you? You've got little kids. Did anybody go see? I wanted to go see it, but again, I completely blanked. Apparently, it was a big box office hit. It made 120 million dollars this weekend. Did anybody go see The Little Mermaid?
No.
It's
Oh.
still a little bit too intense for my kids. According to my wife, I push the limits.
Yeah.
We're watching Star Wars already with my 5-year-old.
No, I could see
So-
how Ursula may come off a little
Yeah.
bit too scary. Yeah. Okay. That's
But
fair.
we're almost there. And I'm looking forward to the fall when we're going to take the family to our first drive-in. These kids have
Wow.
not been to a drive-in. Ooh, and I'm looking forward to
That should be
long,
cool.
darker nights, getting over there, a nice picnic. So it's going to be fun.
It's been a while, but there was a drive-in that Josh, I know we took our kids over to in Lakeland once. And when I lived over in Winter Haven, I used to go there all the time. I need to see if there's something closer in Orlando. If not, it may be maybe this summer. I need to find a point in time that we go and catch a double feature. I love it because they've got a cotton candy maker, and they make this banana flavored cotton candy. Oh my God, that sugar along with a little bite of the salty pretzel, because they've got the handmade pretzels at the place. It looks like a hole in the wall, but the food is so good. Oh my goodness. Just love it.
Nice.
All right. Well, hey, enough of summertime nostalgia and the food that keeps us fatter. We should probably talk about why everybody's here and get over to the round table. Neeraj, I have you up first. Hold on. Let me find my little drop down window so I can get us over there. I have Lakehouse or Warehouse in Microsoft Fabric. Which one should you choose?
Yeah, so fabric. That was the whole news up there, and a lot of questions where I was checking a few of the questions. But one of the articles that came up was Lakehouse or Warehouse, right? I mean, by Christopher Flynn. He explains it really good. I mean, very nicely written down blog. What is Lakehouse in Fabric, and what do you use? Do you use Lakehouse or do you use Warehouse? A decision type guide that he builds it up, dividing it up. Like if you want to go down, he just gives you 5 points, right? I mean, data volume. Both has the volume unlimited, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. Type of data is where it starts getting different, right? I mean, Lakehouse can handle structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and structured data, while Warehouse only can handle the structured part of it. So if it's SQL, Warehouse. If it's non-SQL, Lakehouse. Developer persona, definitely data engineers, data scientists would go in there, and then data organization, read operations, and all of them. He breaks it down in a really nice way, which route to go and help you out to build your Lakehouse versus warehouse.
Excellent. I love the breakdown of the skill set because I think that's really critically important for people to understand.
Mhm.
You're building these structures, you're building these things with either a staff that you have on hand or a staff that you're going to, a consulting firm or people you're going to have to hire. So you need to make sure that you've got the right skill set. And the great thing is the adaptability and the capabilities that we have within Fabric are so wide. We can really hit citizen developers, but we can also hit IT experts that cover a wide range of skills and capacity. Really, really nice stuff. So I am up next, and I have Shamam Watson, one of our wonderful MVPs. And what I love here is that she has done a video specifically on how you enable Fabric. This is a really nice, quick video. It's about 3 minutes in length. And what she does is she walks you through how you go through the tenant, how you make sure it's enabled, how you enroll into the preview. And these are things that are very, very critical. Neeraj, I know in the video that we had done, we made sure to flag that towards the end of it. But it's wonderful to be able to have somebody walk you through these admin portal settings and specifically say, here's what you need to do. And as you can see on screen, you got to make sure that you opt in to the Fabric preview. It's disabled by default, but after you enable it, you can enable it to the specific or to the entire organization, to specific groups. Or you can also say accept specific security groups. So you need to have those things predefined to be able to exclude those groups, but really, really great stuff. I love, again, short, sweet, simple, but exactly what you need to be able to get going on Fabric. Great, great stuff. Andreas, my friend, my good-looking friend with the great beard, you are up next. You have deploying Hugging Face Hub models and Azure machine learning. I've never heard this term before. And all I could think of was like face huggers from Alien. And I'm like, I'm not sure I like where these AI models are going. So tell me, what is this about?
This is one of the the tidal wave of announcements that we had at Build. So there's a great article by Manoj Babelshwar, and Microsoft partnered in the article. He tells us about how Microsoft partnered with Hugging Face to bring in all these Hugging Face open source models. There's about 200,000 of them open, but they're only doing a preview right now to bring in a component of them. They're working on making all of them available. And what do I get from these open source models, these large language models that are at Hugging Face Hub? You get access to models that have image to text, text to video, depth estimation, image segmentation, and the list goes on and on. So you can actually leverage these open source models in your projects. And what we'll have moving forward is in your model catalog registry, a section of our Azure Machine Learning Studio, you'll have access to this hub. You'll be able to pinpoint and say, hey, I want to use that model, bring it in, deploy to an endpoint. So the ability to incorporate these models into our projects is going to be super easy and clicks away. It's not, because before I'd have to import them in and then deploying them to endpoints, another headache that I have to go through. So incorporating open source models, all these large language models into our projects through Azure ML Studio, super easy. Partnerships happening. One of the announcements, man, and there's more announcements that we just don't have the time to get to in this show, but this is one of them that I wanted to pinpoint.
Well,
I was going to say,
go ahead, Brad. No, you go.
Well, so Bradley Shat, what live stream did I join? Hugging Face.
I mean, that's where I was going to go. I mean, I was totally going to bring up that comment as well, because I was wondering, and in fact, Andres, while you were walking through that, I went through and plugged Hugging Face Hub into a search engine just so I could understand what we were talking about. Like, is this a name of something, or is this something I should expect it to do? Like, hug my face. I didn't know where this was going, my friend. So this is good to know now.
No, it's excellent. Well, and what I love there is Dan,
Yeah.
Dan loves hugging your face. I think Dan is talking about the other thing, though. I think that's what Dan's talking about. Dan's not talking about the models. Um, yeah. So, to be fair, on that link, there was a great YouTube video. There were a whole bunch of resources. So make sure you check that out if you're into deploying. And Andres, I'm going to assume this is for facial recognition, visualization, things of that nature. Correct?
Go to huggingface.co, and then on the left-hand side, you're going to see all the list of the different large language models that are out there. Image to text, image classification, text classification, audio, text to speech. There's a ton of open source models that you can leverage in your project, just really at an arm's distance.
Well, and even when I looked at the description too, Brad, it actually gets into data sources as well. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Data sets, the model hub, obviously,
interesting, yeah,
models, things like that. But it's all kinds of things.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's great. So don't let the name deceive you. It sounds like we've got a lot of great stuff there, and I'm looking forward to how we can explore that and maybe use that a little bit.
A very good rule of thumb: don't follow me down a lot of roads. Yeah, I went down the hub. Don't follow me.
I didn't know where you were going with that, and I definitely wasn't following you. But I will follow you this far. You're up next, and you've got pulling Azure Analysis Services logs from Azure Log Analytics into Power BI using Kusto query language.
Yeah, so Log Analytics, great product. They have dashboards and things like that. For me, one of the things always with it is I like Power BI reports a little bit better. So what this allows you to do is take those KQL queries where you've loaded those, you have those logs being funneled into Log Analytics, and use Kusto queries to then populate the data sets in Log Analytics into Power BI, so you can make some nicer reporting and things like that for looking at usage of your analysis services instance, things like that. Again, all within Azure Analysis Services, but I just thought it was a quick, nice little post to get you started down that road, which, I would have loved back in the day, monitoring analysis services, because it was not always the most fun and pretty reports. So
no, it was not. But that's great. And I love that, because people who are administering these things, they need to know how they get their data in, how they're able to visualize it. And as we all know, everybody wants a pretty wrap around everything. And where are you going to do that? Fabric, because Power BI is a part of Fabric. So
I like pretty stuff. So
you are man pretty. You look great in that hat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Neeraj, I've got you up next. No hat, but just as pretty. Did Microsoft just announce the end of Enterprise Data Warehouse?
I mean, so far what I've seen or looking at for Fabric, it's revolution, right? I mean, is it the end of Enterprise Data Warehouse? No, I'm not sure at this point of time, but definitely Fabric is something that is going to change a lot of things in the way you do your data warehousing part of it. Michael just goes over all of the things in there. First he goes over what really is the Fabric part of it, shows you one lake, which is like the best part of it, and then he goes on every single things in there. I mean, the huge things, right? I mean, Lakehouse, warehouse, KQL, that as Josh mentioned in there, everything in one unified place, right? I mean, that's what you need, right? You don't want to go all different places to do all these things. Everything is in one single place to go on, and that's your warehouse concept, right? I mean, you just don't have to go multiple places to spin it up. It's very easy and going through it. So definitely something to look out for.
Very nice. Very nice. Good stuff. I like it a lot. So I like it so much. I'm going to keep going on the Fabric bandwagon. I am up next, and I've got Andrew Burst. Andrew has written for the New Stack. And one of the things he writes about is specifically, he writes about all the different offerings that we have. And one of the things that I really love that not everybody is covering is Data Activator. And he talks a little bit about that. I love it that, Neeraj, you kind of declared that your favorite thing was OneLake. I think there's so many different amazing things within this product, and I'm excited that you're so excited about it. But one of the things to do is read Andrew's article. He talks about how there's less assembly required, how all these components are just there. He specifically breaks down what's in the box. I love that. Oh, great 7 call out right there.
Yeah.
What's in the box? We talk about data factory, data engineering, data science, data warehousing, real-time analytics, and of course, Power BI, our flagship analytics processing system to be able to bring together those beautiful reports that we have. He talks about how it's cooperation, not duplication, which is a very key thing that Adam and Brad both talked about, and that Cal talked about as well. The capability for us to be able to have that one source of data, because we all have those customers who were frustrated in the past by having to have multiple copies of the data, and also we all know the time that it takes to be able to ETL that from one environment to the other. And I really love that he specifically talked about the next frontier, and he talked about the integration that Purview has with the product already natively to be able to find lineage. That's right, Mr. Potter. That's not just linking lineage that was randomly drawn there. That's Purview behind the scenes. So hold on to your hats. There's a lot of great stuff that's going to be coming out this year having to do with Fabric. If you haven't gotten the hint already.
Well, and most important thing, Andrew is a very intelligent man. And if you'd like to meet up with Andrew and possibly have conversations, does anybody on this call know where you could do it? Because I say it enough already.
I was going to say, go to the beautiful Lowe's Royal Pacific Grounds on the glorious and beautiful Universal Studios Resort for Live 360 the week before Thanksgiving. But we'll get more into that when we get into the wrap up, where the man himself, Josh Ludeman, who says it the right way, will be going into it. But yes, Andrew is one of the chairs. He will be there. He always has presentations. He typically has a pre-con. So if you're looking to ask him a question, he and Thomas LaRock are co-data chairs. So make sure you show up.
I give your spiel 7 out of 10. As far as first shots go, 9 out of 10, bro. 9 out of 10.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
But yeah, as far as just settling in, 7. You've got room to grow.
There was a hop on the landing. That's okay. I always need room to grow, especially around the waist. Andreas, who doesn't need room to grow around the waist because he's so trim. Look at the golf model right there. That could be Andreas. Human pose estimation with deep learning, ultimate overdrive in 2023.
I brought this in because of my love for golf. No, I'm not really. I brought this in because it's a great article by Alicia Oda-McKindy, and it's the outlook of pose estimation in deep learning for 2023. And he does a great job of telling us what is pose estimation, what are the key factors there. Basically, what you're doing is you got key points along your body that what they tell you is a story in the story behind your human posture, and how to take that as what your posture is going to do for scenarios like drowsiness in truck drivers, security applications. There's sports applications for pose estimation. There is, what are the other ones? I mean, the list goes on and on. Traffic applications, manufacturing applications, surveillance, online coaching, healthcare, and movies and games. There's actually applications for this. But what he shows us in this article is that the future, the trends, where the money is, what the basic components are in pose estimation, and where you can get started. So if you want to start doing heavier, more intense applications for vision AI applications that live on the edge, this is a great article that compartmentalizes all the major features within this and tells you where to go.
Nice.
That's fascinating. Everything from security to sports, and they're not just tracking human beings, right? They were showing how you can use post estimation, and you can use geographical mappings to be able to map animals, how you can map cars, how you can map carry-on for security, people having backpacks, handbags, things of that nature. Looking at the different future trends. Really, really great stuff. I love it. So make sure that you're up to date with this, because that's the thing is, these models move so fast. One day, people are talking about them, and they're a very specific, certain segment of the scientific population. And before you know it, it's expanded, and we're seeing it in everyday worlds. I mean, if you think about it, where data science really begins to blend into reality is when we don't even think about it existing anymore. Like when you unlocked your computer to be able to get onto work today, you use your face because that's AI modeling. I mean, that's a feature modeling algorithm right there that was able to map out the patterns of your face and find the specific uniqueness to be able to allow you to log into your computer. And a lot of us did that. We did it with our phones. We did it with our iPads. There's so many different things that we use this for. Really, really amazing stuff. I love it. All right. So next up, we have Josh Ludeman. Josh, you have James Sierra's blog. Always good to get something from James. Build announcement, Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, so I wanted to include this one, and I know I've featured James before, but since early in my career doing business intelligence development, one of the early people I found was James. And James is really good that when something new drops or there's, I call it the new flash in the pan as far as excitement in the space. I look to James, and James's blogs have always been a great source for me to go to and boil it down to what's important, what makes it different, where does it excel, where does it fit. So for me, this was more just sharing the content more than featuring a new blogger, just because, again, James does a good job, like within all of his articles on new and emerging technologies, boiling it down. What does it mean? What are the pieces? And doing a great job at it as usual. So, and I wanted to include it because I know there was, the video, Brad, that you showed in other articles. Neeraj has shared articles. We've all shared articles on Fabric, but again, this is the one for me that kind of boils it down, reduces it to what's important, and run with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a sense of theme for this week. And really part of it is just the shift, right? I think Greg Lowe, as I recall, maybe we have something here from him, maybe we don't. But I know I saw a blog by Dr. Greg Lowe specifically talking about how this was the biggest data announcement from Microsoft since SQL Server. And I don't think that undersells it, because this is really going to change the way a lot of people work. If you're doing something right now today, keep doing it. There's no reason to change gears, but in the future, everything's going to link through this. And some of the demos that we're going to show in the video tomorrow that we drop, and also that we showed on the demo when we were doing the live discussion with Bradley Shatt and Adam Saxon and Cal Yella last week. Part of that all gets back to this. I mean, this is really going to unify our data in a way that we haven't seen before. Really,
and it's such a drastic change to how we've traditionally looked at doing this type of thing that in itself is why we encourage you and encourage everybody to keep an eye on it and understand it well, because this is really turning what we do and how we look at how we do what we do in a completely different way.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we're not done yet. Let's keep going with it. Neeraj, you're up next, introducing OneLake and Microsoft Fabric.
So the reason I brought this up was I was working with Andreas, and we are going to create a video on this OneLake, right? I mean, with the foundation of what OneLake is. Very nicely written by Craig Bryden here. Single unified SaaS lake. I mean, just one lake under the SaaS application where you can geographically disperse the data lake. Data mesh out of the box. I mean, it really explains it out. If you are doing data mesh architecture, it's out of the box right there. You don't have to create anything now. It's inbuilt there. Few other data items that is mentioning up. Yep, that's how you can do the data mesh architecture, and then visualize your data across different domains and clouds, and then security is also inbuilt. So very nicely written article about OneLake, and definitely we are also working on getting some articles out there.
Very, very nice. I like it. So I'm up next, and what am I talking about? Well, I've got Joey DeAntoni over at the Redmond Magazine talking about Build 2023 Meet Fabric, the AIification of Microsoft's data business. And what Joey talks about is he gives an overall explanation of this. He makes some comparisons to SQL Server, to big data clusters. He talks about some of the differences. He talks about what's coming and also what some of the functionality He gives us a bit of a breakdown and a bit of a preview. He also talks about different features and different announcements at Build. He signifies it by saying it's a very bold step, and folks like Snowflakes and Databricks are definitely going to be looking at this, and you're going to have to look at the way that they respond to this. And so this is a way that we all benefit from technological competition. And I think it's a very good point that Joey brought up. The fact is, somebody builds a better mousetrap, and then somebody goes, how do I build an even better mousetrap? And eventually we all benefit because people are continually working hard on this stuff. Speaking on continually working hard, Andreas is up next with continuously monitoring the performance of your Azure ML models in production.
This is I just had to, just go again with another great announcement that we had last week. This goes back to an article that we presented, actually, I think 2 weeks ago. It was Getting a Grip on Data Model Drift with Azure Machine Learning by Andreas Kopp and Natasha Sawick. And in that article, if you guys remember, we talked about what's understanding data and model drift, what that means, where it's coming from, how to detect it, analyze that drift, and mitigating. But it was more from a conceptual point of view. Now, with this new announcement and its public preview, Azure Machine Learning, we have more tools to monitor our model and data drift in Azure, so we can detect the data drift, if there's any data distribution changes, if there's any quality in the data that went up, down, is there any prediction drift going down? We're getting more and more tools inside of Azure ML Studio to be able to easily model that, analyze, detect, and mitigate our model drift and data drift. And this is what this article does. Is in public preview right now. And they also give us best practices. Start early, start monitoring. As soon as you deploy your first model out in production, start analyzing the model and the data and creating a baseline, and then comparison as you go along. So they give us the best practices, couple of steps to get started, tools right out of the box. If we are deploying these models to a Microsoft endpoint, easy goes, easy peasy.
Nice. Fantastic stuff. And speaking of fantastic stuff, last but not least, it's Mr. Josh Ludeman with Coding Family, Microsoft Fabric, the first look.
Yep. So it's this specific one in Coding Family was written by Damien. So Damien writes this, and again, just another perspective on the launch of Fabric and, the different pieces of it, how it comes together. This is, again, just to kind of throw in there with James, walks through the different pieces of it, understanding how the different layers come together between data warehouse, data science, Lakehouse, and even real-time analytics. So just a nice, short, succinct article. But again, it's different perspectives, which, I know the three of you know me well enough to know that, but I am someone who likes to look at it not just from one perspective. I will pull too many in there and probably and confuse myself to a certain extent and then get clarity. So this was just another perspective I took in. He's got the good links at the bottom, along with James Serra's article has a bunch of links at the bottom as well. Just around the basic stuff, Q&As, exploring the product announcements, all that.
Very nice. Good stuff. And with that, that's right. Fabric, everything. Fabric, all the things. Everything is fabric. Yep. To be fair, clothing, already fabric. Not sure if you knew. Well, it's time for us to wrap things up. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure and plug SQL Saturday South Florida. It is happening this weekend. You want to go check that out. Our good friends, Daniel Taylor and Bradley Schatt, will both be down there presenting. And if all these articles have not satiated your appetite for Purview, well, you want to go and you want to listen to Bradley Schatt. Again,
which product?
Fabric, part of the Fabric Cat. Yes, do extreme shit. That's what Adam said. And so I get to say it too. So
and Cal said.
Cal said it. That's right. Cal was the one who said it. So Dad can say stuff. That's okay. Keeping it PG there, buddy. I have no problem with that. but you want to make sure and head over to SQL Saturday. Go to SQLSaturday.com. Go to the South Florida event. There is still time to be able to register. Remember, this is a free event. If you are there and you are willing to go there on your Saturday, you will get free training from Microsoft resources, from MVPs, from some of the top consultants in the field. People are donating their time. You want to go, you want to learn. This is a great event. We were all just up in Jacksonville. If not for moving, I would gladly be down there in South Florida. So my heart is down there with you guys. Have a wonderful time and a great day of learning. We're going to wish you all well down in South Florida. Again, go to SQLSaturday.com and make sure and check that out. And also, it's time. Josh, what? Josh had one more stop real quick. Dan will have Tales from the Field stickers. Note he only has 18 left from Jacksonville. So make sure and find Dan. If you're one of the first 18 people to find Dan, we will give you a Tales from the Field laptop sticker. Nice one, Dan. Good call out. Josh, what time is it?
It is time to prepare ourselves for the jubilation, the excitement of Live 360 on the beautiful, luscious grounds of Universal Studios Orlando at the picturesque Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort and Conference Center.
I love it. I love it. I wish I was already there.
A few minutes down the road, you could be. Just saying.
I hear you. All right. And don't forget, we've got content that's going to drop today. Microsoft Fabric for DBAs using SQL Server Management Studio. Next Tuesday, we have the roundtable. And if you've got content and you're a creator in the community, we would love to hear from you. We would love to feature your content. Gentlemen, anything else that I can think of?
No. Right there's the Twitter. Please, if you have, tag us in any drops of content that you put out there. Love to add you to the list of featuring on the show.
Absolutely. Remember, there is a story in every single one of you. You are doing something unique and special right now that I would love to hear about. My friends would love to hear about. Everybody on the show would love to hear about. But the way that you get there is you go and participate in the community. Look for your local user group. Look for your local SQL Saturdays. Find those virtual conferences that you can apply to be a part of. We hope to see you out there. Have a great week, everyone. Take care of one another. Bye, everybody.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a